Today I'm working on two springboards for the front of the boat, and they're stacked on top of each other, and I just glued them with some West System epoxy on both surfaces. And first I cross sanded it with a belt sander across the grain to give it some teeth for the epoxy to grip. And then I marked out the every 6 inches I put a mark here, and that's where the clamps are going to go. So I get even spacing of the clamps, and I should get a lot of pressure at every 6 inches apart. So I'm going to keep putting the clamps on, and then I'll tighten them up and wait for the stuff to dry. It'll be done in the morning. Okay, I've got the plank all clamped up, and I've got some pretty good squeeze out going, and I'll have to clean some of that up so that it doesn't stick to the clamps before it dries. And I'm going to just go back and retighten everything just a little bit more with a wrench, and I use an impact wrench to tighten them. Basically the clamps are just 1x2 birch or maple solid wood, and I drilled a 3/8 hole through them and cut a bunch of threaded rod, welded one nut on the top, and then left the other one free so you could take them apart. Working on the springboard right now, and I plan on planing this end part of the springer board down and tapering it with a planer right here on this line. And the front of the springboard is just rounded over like this here. Then I'm going to bullnose it later. Okay, I've got the springer boards all shaped and they're ready to go. I just took a 3/4 inch round over bit and rounded it over here, and that's the front on one, and this is the back bottom, and it just tapers in, like I said when I planed it, to not much there, so it'll have a nice aerodynamic release there on the back. Today I'm laminating up the runner plank for the small wing boat, and basically I have 2 pieces of poplar a little over 11 feet long, and they're at 15/16, so overall thickness will be 1 7/8, and hopefully that should be thick enough. And I've got the planks prepared, and I cross sanded the grain on the laminating side of it to give the glue something to grip on, and got rid of all the shine on top of the wood. And I've preset all my clamps to slide on. Yeah, it's a pile there, and then I have another pile here. And I'm running my clamps at every 6 inches on the intervals. Okay, I've wet out both boards with some West System epoxy, and I just used a squeegee to apply it, and I just put enough on to where you couldn't really see any fuzzy grain showing anymore, and hopefully that'll be about right. Next thing I'll do is flip the boards over and start sliding the clamps on. Okay, I've got all the clamps on. I stuck some bar clamps, one on the end, one in the middle, and one on this end, to kind of hold everything straight, and because sometimes when you start clamping it, it starts to get crooked. So that was the first thing I clamped, and then I went ahead and put some wax paper down underneath the wood clamps there, so when you epoxy squeezes out, I don't have to clean it up. It won't be as big a mess then. So now all I have to do is start squeezing them down, and I'll probably do every other one to start with, and then maybe think about putting some camber in it after that. Okay, I've got everything snugged but not exactly tight, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the camber next. Okay, what I've got is we're blocked off down here on either side, and then I'm coming up to the ceiling with a dead man, and I just have it on a floor jack, or not a floor jack, a jack, and I'll just jack it up until I have the right amount of camber. And I'll probably put in 3 inches or so, and then being that it's only one lamination, I'm sure half of that will spring back. The last thing I do is I check for level, and I put the level in the center and on that end and that end, and that's to check to see if the plank is twisted at all, and this one turned out pretty good, so I'll just let it dry now.